If you're still thinking the Carolina Panthers are rebuilding, you're behind. It's no longer about a team searching for an identity, but a team that can build with a purpose. And in this video, we're breaking down a full 2026 Carolina Panthers mock draft, focused on one thing: what is the best way to build around Bryce Young and the right way to do it? When you look at the Panthers under Dan Morgan, the vision has been cleared. You protect the quarterback, you eliminate some vitality, and you build a roster that wins with structure and not chaos. After winning the NFC South title this year, everything can change. Now you're seeing a team who has some Super Bowl aspirations if things continue to grow the way they want it to go. This is no longer about upset swings or some developmental gambles. It's about being precise, using that precision to build the roster. Because when you have a franchise quarterback in Bryce Young, you have to do everything you can to support him. You have to find ways to help his timing, help the structure around him, and just help the weapons be more reliable. In pick 19 in the first round, my selection is Kenyon Sadiq, tight end from Oregon. A couple mock drafts have him bouncing all the way as high as 7 to the Commanders. I've seen him go to the Rams multiple times. But even the Cowboys was a draft that I draft was a mock draft that I saw. But if he's able to fall to Carolina, it would be perfect. Not only is he addressing a need that the Panthers have in their tight end room, he is a movement weapon. With under new offensive coordinator Brad Isaac, movement and motion is going to be a big part of the offense. And when you have a player who's going to have to force a defense to declare coverage before the snap has even happened, it's going to help Bryce Young so much. With that 4.39 speed, you're not drafting him just to sit and be an inline blocker. He becomes a true chess piece on the board, and he doesn't even have to be the number one option on the Panthers. He can just be a complement and easily gain 800 yards by just being a mismatch disruptor. You're drafting him to stress the steam. You're drafting him to help with spacing and, again, to create some mismatches. This fits perfectly with Carolina's offense is going. More motion, more condensed formations, and just a more defined role for more defined read for Bryce Young. Now, there is some development issues, blocking consistency, and just him being a not crisp route runner. He isn't Brock Bowers, but everything else, he is a clear win. And in the big picture, he's not a need pick. He's just an upgrade for the offense, especially in the middle of the field where the Panthers have consistently been poor the last couple of years. If Sadiq is not on the board, I think the offensive alternate they can definitely go for is Omar Cooper Jr., the wide receiver from Indiana. Bigger receiver. He runs good routes. He has good hands and has good timing coming in and out of his breaks. This is a guy that you would trust on third down. And even though he's another receiver that you're drafting in the first round, it completely solidifies the receiver room for the next 3 years. And if he is able to break now, have an amazing season, that's only going to help McMillan and Coker on the edges. So, and not to mention Cooper runs primarily in the slot anyway. So, the defensive option I've noticed, and I've seen a lot of people have, is Sadiq's teammate from Oregon, Dylan Thienen, the safety. If he is there, he has high IQ, is a quarterback in the secondary, really strong communicator, has been a team leader in the last couple of years, and he's just a long-term glue piece. I love his athleticism. He has a good size, and at the end of the day, yes, he plays safety, but at 19, you're just getting the best available defensive player for a defense that was already top 10 in interceptions. Now you have another leader back there that can only help out Evero in that squad. Next selection, second round and with the 51st pick, I said Dani Dennis-Sutton, edge rusher from Penn State. Um, Now you add another edge rusher after having Phillips and Scorton having a pretty good rookie year. Um, he can easily set the edge, convert his speed to power, and he fits with multiple fronts. Long, lanky, athletic edge rushers are not a common thing. And if he can play the run, at worst, you just get an additional motion, rotational piece. And at best, you get a guy who you start having to have. You're getting a guy who you are getting on the cheap, and that's not going to hurt your cap space. And not to mention, lack of injuries has been fantastic. He gives you kind of that snap to snap consistency. And again, I just think it just makes sense to kind of build a rotation for the edge rusher position. Having too many edge rushers, you can trade one or two off and get some draft capital back for them. Because at the end of the day, teams need edge rushers. And if you're able to help yourself out with plenty and drop one off or help with your pass rush, it just makes sense. Some alternatives on offense. I said Caleb Alumu, offensive tackle from Utah. Just more insurance protection for Bryce Young. With Icky being gone, getting hurt, it's just another tackle that you're able to have. Walker currently is going to be a pretty good swing tackle and will be able to fill in, but just adding another guy to the room for the offensive line. They've already heavily invested there. I don't think it's a secret, but Lumen in of itself has a good base. He has really good hands, and he can develop into a starter. The other option is the corner from Indiana, D'Angelo Ponds. He is a system corner, meaning that he fits exactly what the Panthers want to do. He has elite zone awareness. He knows he has played zone and has played it really well. Good, strong anticipation, and he has immediate nickel value because of that. You can leave Horn out in the outside, um, and and let him work right in that nickel spot. He just has really high IQ, and I think it's a perfect fit. In the third round, with the 83rd pick, I said linebacker Jake Golday from Cincinnati. Carolina needs more linebacker support. They just signed Devin Lloyd, which I'm still to this day can't believe they actually did because I'm so excited about that. And last year, their linebacker play was terrible. Um, Jake Golday at 6'4", 240. Not only can he play middle backer, but you can use him as a blitzer as well. He has some defensive end background, and it just makes sense to help bolster that position to where you're either building a competition or you use him situationally. Having good middle linebackers is never a bad thing. Um, he Watching him on film, he has good run fits, really good tackler and strong communicator. So depending on how quickly he learns the defense, he could be your Mike backer, and you can allow Devin Lloyd to be the weak side and more of that run and gun, do what he does, linebacker. And on defense, it, on Carolina's defense is going to be built on building a rotation in disguise. And if you can have a guy who knows what he's doing, can fit exactly where he needs to fit in, it just matters more than just the raw athleticism at the end of the day. Some alternatives for offense, I said Logan Jones, the center from Alabama. Uh, Losing Cade Mays stinks. He got his money, so you're just going to need to replace him. At this point, if he falls in the third round for a guy who is projected many spots being the second, it just makes sense to pull the trigger. Helps building stability interior for the offensive line. He's a good anchor. Um, had been calling protection adjustments down in Alabama, and with good processing. I can totally see Jones being a coach once it's all said and done. And at the end of the day, with Bryce Young being a smaller quarterback, you have to start with the interior. That's why they paid so money already with the 3 guys they have now. On defense, the other alternative would be Traden Stukes, corner from Arizona. Uh, I like I like our corners already, but if and again, he's another value pick where he plays his zone really well. He has always been in the right position according to his coaches, and just more depth. He's a kind of low risk, functional football player who can help out on special teams, help fill in the roster, and make a few plays this upcoming season. In round 4, pick 119, I said Justin Joly, tight end from NC State. This pick strictly is just if Sadiq's not there, I think he could be a pretty good consolation. I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers picked him up in the 3rd. But again, obviously things change, and if he falls to the 4th, they need to immediately draft him. And I wouldn't say he's a poor man Sadiq, but you can use him. I imagine using him very similar to how you would use Sadiq, where he is a offensive versatility chess piece. You can do almost anything with him, put him in almost any slot, and he'll be able to have some success. He's not going to be your centerpiece or your focus piece, but a really good complement to the other strong weapons on the offense. At the end of the day, he he keeps the Panthers offense unpredictable. If you have 3 receivers, him and a running back, you can immediately go empty. You can go 3-by-1. You can go 2-by-2. You can go. There's just a multitude of things you can do with him just on the field. Another alternative for offense would be Deion Burks, receiver from Oklahoma. Explosive, immediate separator, and has really good yak ability. Watching him in Oklahoma, he was able to do an excellent job of breaking a tackle and making a big run. Um, he's on the smaller side, which I think kind of fits well to what they want to go. They're looking for a guy who can play the slot at the end of the day. The outside receivers are pretty locked set, so it just makes sense to hey, let's get a guy who can play the middle of the field. The other option would be again, and I hope you guys know, I think there's a lot of good corners here that the Panthers are just trying to have to go for. So I said Malik Muhammad, corner from Texas. Another zone corner who has some outside corner traits. He can develop very quickly. He has really good athleticism, and he's a pretty good special teams player. Pick 5, I said Wesley Williams. Sorry, round 5, pick 158. I said Wesley Williams, edge rusher from Duke, local guy, high motor rotational pass rusher. He's not finished by any means, but he's shown a lot of effort, and effort translates not only in the passing game, but the run game. Played a little special teams, so he can definitely add some value there. And he's just another depth piece for the pass rush. An alternative on offense would be Kendrick Law, receiver from Kentucky. Really, again, another slot receiver who can make a few plays, break a couple tackles, and allow the offense to come to him. On defense, safety from Texas, Michael Taffy, smart, high IQ, good communicator, special teams reliability. He can easily be a guy who, if they go Sadiq in the 1st round, he can be picked up in the 4th or 5th round and immediately find himself jockeying for a starting position just because he knows exactly where to be at the right time. His only weakness is he isn't as athletic as you would like, especially in the safety position. Round 5, pick 159, Kaden Wetjen, returner from Iowa. He was one of the best returners in the NCAA this past year in college football last year. Real good positional value, can translate into the slot receiver. When the margins are tight, he has vision in space. Uh, that return ability will translate over to playing in the slot and have an immediate impact. Another alternative offensive piece would be Desmond Claiborne in the 5th round out of Wake Forest. A good explosive change of back. They have Dylan. They obviously have Chuba. Getting the third back who can make a difference for the offense just makes sense, especially in these later rounds. Um, for defense, I said Anthony Lucas, edge rusher from USC, in the 5th round as a possible defensive alternate. Really long, shown a lot of effort, has some athleticism, and can develop into a rotational defensive end for the Carolina Panthers. Um, Round 6, pick 200. I said Haynes King from Georgia Tech. Kind of a reach here, but if it's your last pick, I think they need to bring in a guy who can be a backup for a couple years. Kenny Pickett obviously is still looking to be a starter, and so he takes this job just for an opportunity for him to uh, be on a roster, build some more relationships, and show what he can do. But Haynes can definitely be a developmental quarterback who, with his size and some athleticism, can be in the roster, put some pressure on for scouting, and possibly if Bryce Young doesn't work out or something happens, you can trade him and get some draft capital back. But Dan Morgan has stated several times that he wants mobility in his backup quarterbacks, and Kenny Pickett is fits the mold, and I think King can definitely be a low a low cost acquisition for the Carolina Panthers. He fits the scheme. He has some emergency starter traits, meaning that with him being mobile, it's not there's some unpredictability to his game, and he's played a lot over the last couple of years. Some alternatives for offense. I picked Drew Skelton, offensive tackle from Penn State, developmental tackle for the pipeline. Again, a guy who he's not ready to start right now, but you can you can definitely coach him up. There hasn't been anything I've seen that doesn't think that can't happen, and he can be a guy definitely in a year or two you throw in, give him a shot, especially if Icky goes down again or whoever. For defense, edge rusher from Utah, Logan Fano. Um, his brother obviously is one of the top prospects in this draft. Logan has shown a lot of effort, hasn't gotten a lot of uh, shine. His time in Utah, he was able to be an all Big 12 player, but his athleticism will hold him back. In the 6th round, gain a guy who can definitely be on your roster, help you at some point on defense and special teams just makes sense. And so I hope when you take a step back in all the selections I made, they don't scream flashy uh, or over the top, and it's not the point. This team is moving away from just trying to survive season to season into we have a structure, and so let's build on it. Every pick ties back to something I hope you understand is real. Protecting Bryce Young, make sure that the offensive roles are clearly defined, but you still have some uh, but you still have some multiple options to where pieces can definitely move, and you're building a defense that functions without the perfect conditions. And nothing here, I hope, nothing here is random. Even the development students have a purpose, and because this is the identity, this is the team who wants to win with consistency and not chaos. Because at this point, Carolina doesn't need a miracle draft; they just need a repeatable one. Class that raises the floor just enough to take them to the playoffs again and have a real impact in January and hopefully in February. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. I hope you enjoyed this mock draft. Make sure to like, subscribe, drop your favorite pick in the comments. If you think I'm completely wrong, make sure to add that as well. Who do you think Who do you hope the Carolina Panthers pick in the first round? And at the end of the day, I'll see you next time. Peace.